Hi, my name's Mariah, and I did ethnographic research on human-animal relationships. And I decided to do my research at a dog show. While at my field site, I was able to learn what the relationship between humans and animals is and what a dog show exactly is. And that's what I'll be talking about throughout this presentation. Background and context. My first source is Dog Waste, Wasted Dogs, the Contribution of Human-Dog Relations to the Political Ecology of Australian Urban Space by Leslie Instone. The researcher based her research on pursuing two human-dog urban relationships. And she also performed research throughout an urban city and used political ecology to compare human-animal relationship. The two human-dog relationships are one concerned with dog waste, dog feces, and the other is dogs as waste, otherwise known as attachment and disposability. These shape the flows that constitute urban political ecologies. The relationship between human and animal, otherwise mentioned by the researcher as multi-species urban life, negatively affects the environment through waste flows. It causes pollution. Animals became unwelcome in the mid-19th century due to the rise of sanitation and the public health movement. According to the researcher, urban became a purified space of culture, not nature. Pet waste leads to environmental and health dangers because of the irresponsibility of the owner, because they don't take care of their pet the proper way. The researcher also discusses animal cruelty, such as abandonment. Such examples are moving and leaving your pet there, rental accommodations. Some places do not accept pets, and illnesses. Another form of cruelty is euthanasia, which is very controversial and popular in today's society. According to the researchers' findings, in Australia, pounds and shelters don't have to report the number of animals killed. In the 2011-2012 year, over 14,000 dogs were euthanized, and the public tried to conceal it. At my field site, my research was based on what a general human-animal relationship looks like and what a dog show is. I performed research at a dog show, and the environment was really pet friendly. There was no hostileness, and it was cruelty free, and the organization in charge of the event is actually advocating for animal shelters. My second source is Unregulated Relations, an ethnographic perspective of dog ownership on Isla Mujeres, Mexico, by Paloma White. This researcher did a 6-week period of ethnographic research in an international non-government animal rescue organization. She also discusses the political and organizational backgrounds of human-dog relationships. According to her findings, dogs on Isla Mujeres are the locus of social and perhaps more pointedly political attention. Isla Mujeres has a government that relies on the personal responsibility of the citizens. In other words, you have to take care of your pets. An incident that happened in Islamahirace is famous for being known as the Dead Dog Island. And there were dead dogs littered everywhere on the streets because people decided to poison them to control the overpopulation of the dogs. And the dogs were also attacking people on the streets. This led to the regulation of animals. The responsibility of the pets fell to non-government organizations. The animals were protected under both federal and state legislature. There were laws put in place such as Federal Animal Health Act and the Law of Protection and Animal Welfare of the State of Quintana Roo. These laws were put in place for the owners to ensure that the owners were to take care of their pets appropriately. The researcher also discusses that dogs also form the relationship and not the human. The researcher discusses a dog called Pedro, whom many citizens of Islamahirace have had stories about. So he forms relationships like humans do. The researcher discusses that more animal cruelty is happening and more laws are put in place for pet owners. The government of Islamahirace, they established clinics because the laws weren't helping, and these clinics help the dog owners. They help the dog owners by giving vet treatment either completely free or low cost onto where the owner can afford to take care of their pet and take them to the vet. The clinics also educate the owners on needing to understand their responsibility on how to properly take care of the pet. My field site was a 3-day period of ethnographic research. It was a very friendly and kind environment. Unlike the research in this source, it seemed like a very hostile environment for dogs. The dogs were very well behaved and well trained because they were show dogs and they were supposed to act that way. The organization was also raising money for animal shelters to help that, to help the overpopulation. The owners were also really responsible of their animals, and that was not the case in this source. My third source is Walrus History Around the North Water, Human-Animal Relations in a Long-Term Perspective by Anne Brigitte Gottfredson. This research was about the relationship between walruses and humans throughout history, from past to present right now. The researcher uses biological, archaeological, historical, and ethnographic sources. In the North Water region, they hunt in walruses for important resources such as blubber and meat. Hunting the walruses helped form a powerful component in human action and social life in the region. It also contributed to the entire socio-ecological system. This also helped shape the hunting economy. According to the researcher, the walrus is an agent of economy, the social life and imageries of the hunting communities that settled. Human-animal dynamics in this research are based on mutual respect and reciprocity. Walrus hunting may seem cool, but it was also very crucial in defining in the activity in the social life in the North Water region. They also used walrus as a source of raw material. My research was on the relationship between animals and humans, as I've said, and this organization that organized the event for my field site helped the community come together and raise money for animal shelters, and also to help just in general animals in need. My field site. My field site was Buckhorn Valley Kennel Club Dog Show. It was located at Island Grove Regional Park at the event center in Greeley, not too far from the university. There was around 100 different dog breeds and shows, and it was 3 days long. The setting was inside the event center. It was very spacey, but very noisy and really crowded. There were tents around the fenced-in areas for the shows. The tents were, they were selling merch that is related to animals in general, but more over dogs, like leashes, collars, harnesses, and other things like that. There was also a tent selling jewelry, which I thought was a little odd. It smelled sort of farmish, but I believe that was because of the tables for the grooming. There was lots of tables around the areas for grooming their dogs. There was also a fenced-in area outside of the building for a tiny little competition. The community had a pretty broad range of age. It was from young adults to older aged, but it was more older aged than young adults. Everyone was extremely friendly, polite, and they had really good sportsmanship. There were also raffles going on to raise money for future dog shows and animal shelters, like I've said. For dog shows and dog training, the dogs wear tight leashes high on their neck, and the dogs have to walk or trot a certain way. It looks very formal. You wouldn't see a normal dog walking like that. The dog stance for a dog show is having their chin up and the legs spread out equally. When the show begins, the owners run around the ring and then with their dog, and after that the owners run or walk around individually so the judge can judge them. The judges rank the dogs based on how they look and how they performed. There are also different classes and groups of dogs for specific breeds, such as owner-handled, working, and herding. The owners also carry around dog supplies, such as combs, brushes, and spray bottles. The spray bottles are for the more fluffy and thick-haired dogs, so they can look their best and look formal. The environment was very formal, of course. It was competition, but it was also really non-competitive. The owners were very formal. They wore formal dresses and suits. The women had their hair up. There were a lot of woos and claps whenever a dog and owner ran around the ring. There were a lot of taking of pictures. there were no phones unless people were taking pictures. And of course, non-competitive. Everybody was very warm. The competitors would hug and congratulate each other. They were very sincere. It was just a little fun competition. The relationship between human and animal, I narrowed it down to having a friendly relationship or having a cruel relationship. Friendly is like rewards and praises. I saw a lot of that at the dog show. The dogs were constantly getting treats and for their well behavior and the owners were using baby talk, which is seen as friendly and kind. Also, a lot of people consider their pets as part of the family, and that's a really friendly relationship. That's how it should be. You also hear a lot about man's best friend, a dog. Also using them to benefit society. Even though walrus hunting is sort of cruel, it was not in the Society of the North Water. The walruses actually benefited society. So a cruel relationship would be mistreating them, abandoning them, like what was said in one of my sources. Also, euthanasia it's very immoral, and it's also very controversial. Another one is Dead Dog Island in one of my sources. That was very cruel. During my research, I was able to see what the relationship between human and animal is and what exactly a dog show is.